I am so fucking tired of the stigma around therapy and coaching and mental health and seeking support. And I know that in more recent times, this conversation has been explored a little bit more, and there are people out there doing amazing work advocating for mental health services and really trying to educate others on the importance and the value of it. But I'm gonna add my 2 cents to this because I don't think we could possibly talk about this enough. So I hope that this is supportive to you. To you. I was on Facebook just kind of scrolling about and I saw this meme or this quote that said, if your therapist doesn't have a good therapist, you need to get yourself a different therapist. Or if your coach doesn't have a coach, you need to get yourself another coach. And that really tickled me because I could not agree more. We're human. We need support. We were not designed to figure out the intricate workings of life all on our own. And we are so much better when we come together and when we have someone, another pair of eyes, somebody who can be objective, who can listen to you, who can witness you in all of your mess and all of your glory, somebody who can validate your feelings, who can help you process out loud. And yeah, your friends and your family or your significant others can fulfill that role for you, but it's different. It's different having a therapist or a coach who can be really objective and who can work with you through whatever it is that you're navigating in a really specific way. Now, obviously, there are differences between therapy and coaching. If you are really struggling with your mental health, please, please, please consider finding a therapist. And gosh, I have been so fortunate. I have worked with like over 20 different therapists in helping them develop their branding and their website design, which is really funny that I've had the privilege to work in that capacity with so many different therapists and helping them get their work and their message out into the world. So if you are looking for a therapist, feel free to ask me for recommendations. I will pass along the names and contacts of all the beautiful people I've had the pleasure of working with. But definitely, if you're struggling, please consider finding a therapist. We give so much emphasis and focus to our looks and our diet and exercise and it just so much of our physical health without talking a lot or talking enough about our mental health, which is just bananas to me. I like I said, I've experienced both. I've tried therapy, I've tried coaching. I love both. I have found both experiences to be really rewarding. I have found both experiences to be really challenging, but they're different. When I think of therapy, I think of like tuning into what's wrong, figuring out what's wrong, getting to the heart of it, and then fixing it. At least that's how I view therapy. You meet with somebody who can help you process and who can help you overcome whatever it is that you're struggling with. When I think of coaching, or at least coaching in the way that I like to work with my clients, I think of it as a process of tuning into what is working really well, what is lighting you up, and together figuring out a way where you can do even more of that. And so, as you could, I mean, I hope you can see the value in both of those approaches and what they bring to the table and how enriching they can be to your life and also how different they are. But going back to that quote that I saw on Facebook, Yeah, I agree. If your therapist doesn't have a therapist, if your coach doesn't have a coach, then that's just weird to me. I am a coach and I absolutely have a coach. I love having somebody that I can speak to regularly, that I can vent out loud with or brainstorm with, who I can say, hey, what do you think about this new offering I just put out? And the funny thing is that people pay me to help them and support them in doing this work. And so I think there's this misconception of like, oh, well, why would you pay for somebody to help you with this thing that you're an expert at? Hello, for the same reason that a hairstylist is very likely not going to cut her own hair, because how are you going to reach back there and do a good job, right? Even really great hairstylists, I'm sure, have their own hairstylist. It's the same thing. And so it's funny to me when there's this expectation that therapists should have their whole lives figured out and everything really buttoned up and everything like really together. And coaches, same thing. If you're a life coach, then you must be like crushing it in all areas of life. Hello, we're human. We go through stuff just like you, and we need the support. And so I don't think there's anything wrong or strange about a therapist having a therapist and a coach having a coach. On the contrary, I would hope that anybody who is a service provider, who is supporting other people and navigating the intricacies of their lives, I would hope that they themselves have a place where they can process out loud as well. Especially because in coaching and in therapy, and actually I don't want to speak about therapy because I'm not a therapist, so I'll shift back to coaching, although this is, I'm sure, true in therapy as well. In coaching, we hear and soak up so many stories. I've had clients come to me in tears with just heartbreaking stories, and I feel it sometimes. Yes, I've become really good at staying really grounded and neutral and holding the space and being supportive and being compassionate enough to feel into the moment with them without taking it on as my own. But sometimes those emotions can slip through the cracks a little bit. And so it's always a good thing when the person who supports you has somebody that they can reach out to as well. Um, I cannot stress enough the importance of you getting the help that you need. And if you're not in a situation where you're like, if you're going through anxiety or depression, yeah, that might feel a little bit more obvious. But say you are someone who everything's like mostly good, right? Life is mostly okay, but you have a stressful job, or um your mental health is pretty good, but you're in a relationship that's really stressful to you, or that's maybe harmful to you, or you're through the moon excited about a project that you are currently crafting and getting ready to birth into the world, but you're feeling overwhelmed about all the things that you need to do to make it happen. Like, those are all great examples of when you might reach out to a coach. Or let's say you finally feel like you figured something out in your business or in your life, and you feel like it's going really well, and you just want to learn how to embrace and manifest more of that, and you feel like you can use the support in boosting that effort. These are all great examples of the kinds of things that I can support you with. This is a type of work that you can expect through my business witchcraft and coaching. offering. And if it's not me, if I'm not the coach that you're looking for, find the person who is your right fit. And like I said, reach out to me. I might know somebody. I've had the pleasure of working with so many therapists, and I have so many friends who are also coaches. I would love to refer you to somebody that I think would be a good fit. But the point is that you just get the help that you need. And sometimes it's not an obvious struggle that you're going through. Sometimes it could be a search for a spark of inspiration that someone else could help you summon up. So I'm curious to hear if you have done therapy and coaching, if you prefer one more than the other. Yes, they're wildly different, but I'm curious to hear if you found one to be a little bit more supportive than the other, if you've done coaching and therapy at the same time. This is a conversation that I love having, and I would love for this to be a space for you to share your thoughts.